Hello all you Whitebox fans out there. I got another video for you as promised. This is the PS4 Model 2. And how you can tell that is just by the sticker on the back. Actually, there's two ways instantly to tell. The CUH-ZCT2U. The other versions are one. It's a black controller with faded gray buttons and joysticks. As well as triggers. And when you open it up, it's a completely different design on the inside as well. And same deal, 4 screws on the back, just like all other PlayStation controllers. I like to pinch the front cover and the back cover and then just pull so slightly. Oh, this one. And this one has a lot of play, or not a lot of play, but a lot of pressure to it to get it to open. When you open it, like I said, never pull all the way through and separate it. You just, once it starts cracking and it pops open, just leave it open just like this because you don't want to damage that power board ribbon cable there. Once you get to that point, you can go ahead and lay the back bezel down and just unplug the ribbon cable. So right now, there's a lot going on. Completely different redesign, or not completely different redesign, complete redesign of the previous 3 controllers that Sony had came out. First thing I'll point out, smaller, kind of smaller power board here, but redesigned because they angled the ribbon cable instead of coming out and folding over. They put it at an angle so there's now no folds in the ribbon cable. They also redesigned your clear plastic LED, what I would like to call illuminator, because your LED light flashes through this clear plastic piece and it sticks out. And I'll show you why when we get to the breakdown of this. I'll show you why this sticks out now as opposed to being flush with everything. And then the other thing they redesigned, look at that, there's no loops. So like I'll pull out a version 1 and I'll compare here, or the model ones. You see how they have these loops here that go the distance between, or that kind of hold the triggers in place so they're not banging against each other. They did away with that on the Model 2. And if you look at the top, they actually now mold that in with the internal buttons board, so now you don't have to worry about snapping it off of the back bezel, because you know, if you were to accidentally drop your controller and you hit it on here and this piece breaks off, now you have to replace your whole back bezel. Whereas if you now you drop it, chances are you're not going to break this piece now. It's all one solid piece in with the internal buttons board. I haven't actually seen a controller come in with this piece broken, so that's good. All the previous controllers, absolutely. I would see a lot of damage to this and you'd have to replace this whole back piece, so that's a pain in the butt. As like all the other controllers, you're going to want to disconnect the battery. Pull that right out. There you go. It's a new controller, so everything is nice and tight in there. Not a lot of play with this controller. And it pops right out. So what I'm going to do is I'm actually just going to desolder the wires here. So there you go, desolder that. Now you're going to unscrew the main board here, and then you're going to, with your index finger and your thumb, you're going to pinch the thick plastic piece, and you're going to wiggle. And because this is in there, this is really a lot more tighter than the A. You're just going to wiggle it back and forth until it comes right out. Now that that's out, you can actually pull this entire assembly out. And then there you go. We'll get to these two in a second. Now, the redesign here is 2 things, and it only deals with this section right here, and I'll show you why. When the touchpad itself, compared to the other 3, when you take this out, the ribbon cable was more closer, like I said, to the right side of the touchpad, so obviously you can see the redesign there. The other thing they did here is that thick bar that went across was more to the top. Now this is down further, and this is why I was telling you that LED, that clear plastic LED that sits out further, this is why. The touchpad now has an illumination window right there. You can barely see it on the camera, but right in between the top and where this ribbon cable comes into the touchpad, there's a little slot right here. And when you light up the controller, this actually sits in that spot. And right here in front, I don't know if you can see it, I have to flash a light under here, but right here, right where the edge starts to curve, is where the LED light actually shines through. I'm not absolutely sure why Sony did that. I guess just because so you're not looking at the controller from the top, you can see that it's illuminated from the front, which is, I guess, kind of cool. I mean, it doesn't bother me none, but it's just kind of interesting how they thought of that as a redesigned part of the controller. So there is your differences there with the front bezel. So same deal with the other 3 touchpads. When you put this back in, you want to hold the ribbon cable down so that you can lock it under, push it in place, and let it go. Now we go to the main board and the internal buttons board. So the main board, once again, held in by clips. And the clips on this is just 2. It's just top here. And once you unclip it, pops right out. Boom. Now what Sony did, on the version A's, the ribbon cables actually came out from the side. They went back to the top and they moved it from the center all the way over to the right. So you can see here on the main board, that's where the ports are now. This is where the compression has to make a solid connection with the touchpad, or the internal buttons board, so that this makes a solid connection all the way through. So that's that. And then here's the front. So they kind of went back to the original design of the first 2 versions. The version A would actually had less traffic on it, so this actually looks like they brought the traffic back. But that's it. Pretty cool. Definitely like us and subscribe on our YouTube page so that you can get more up to date when our next videos pop out on YouTube. Like us on Facebook at www.facebook.com/Whitebox Service. And then definitely check us out on our website. If you have something that you want repaired but it's not shown on the website, don't hesitate to give us a call or send us a comment on the comment box so you can talk to one of our live representatives at their computer. If you have something that, let's just say like a pro audio piece or a gaming headphone maybe that's not listed, or anything that you think we could try to repair, don't hesitate to ask. We definitely can take a look at it for you if it's something our technicians can do. We have a broad perspective of things we can repair, but what we advertise on our website is what we specialize in. Our gaming, our iPods, our tablets, and our headphones. We can do that, and we can do it in a relatively quick turn time for you. But like I said, don't hesitate if you have something you don't see. We can definitely look at it for you. And thank you for joining. Check out our other videos, and thank you for joining on this Whitebox PS4 Model 2 controller breakdown.
We don't need no education. We don't need no thought control.